everyone, Jon Wertheim is today's quick serve from the 2025 Australian Open. Day 3 was a wild one, a crackerjack, as the Aussies would say. Maybe not the star power of the previous day, but man, just what a wild array of results and breakthroughs and upsets. And for the video portion, have fun watching all the tweeners from yesterday. If there were one theme, maybe it's matchups. Sometimes we talk about players' rankings and records, but we don't necessarily spend enough time. Does player X like playing Y? All right, if we were prioritizing this as like newspaper headline writers or in a rundown, I think I'd probably start with Joao Fonseca, the Brazilian team taking out Andrey Rublev. Wow, is that a statement win? Fonseca, the 18-year-old, doesn't turn 19 until the U.S. Open. So they came and say the 18-and-a-half-year-old. The 18-year-old with just such a solid win over a player who, is a top 10 stalwart. What a statement he made. The secret is out on Fonseca. He won the next gen. He came here and qualified. Everybody has been buzzing about this kid from Brazil. I mean, keep in mind, he was a decommit to the University of Virginia not long ago. You think they would have liked him in Charlottesville? Instead, he is really making a name for himself out here on the pro tennis tour. That was just such a solid, poised win over a very, very choice opponent. We talked about this match before, Andy and I did. I don't know if you caught it. I mean, Andy called this upset, all credit to him. And I was a little reluctant, mostly for the reason that Fonseca had to qualify. And sometimes you see this, the players have to come in. They have already won 3 matches. Sometimes that means they're in form. Sometimes that means they're gassed. For an 18-year-old to qualify, win 3 matches, an ocean away from home, just weeks after winning this next gen, and then still having enough to take down a player of Rublev's class in a best-of-5 match, that is such a statement. But the power comes easy, and this kid is very much for real. Fonseca beating Rublev, and in the process, that is a real breakthrough. This is kids going places. He's top 100 now, but there's an arrow on his back because he's going places in a hurry. Other results, bit of a shocker. Our guy Giovanni Perricard, the hard-serving Frenchman, taken out in 5 sets. Note the opponent. It was Monfils, 38 years old, fresh from winning a title, is Monfils. Again, think about styles and think about matchups there. Perricard is playing against an older player, one he knows well from the same country. There's a bit of a mentor-protege relationship there. Monfils, who returns well. He's very patient, plays far back on the court. As he's gotten older, he's actually elongated points. A lot of times older players shorten points. Monfils happy to take his time. Who would have thought that Monfils would only have 1 fewer ace than Perricard, and one player would not face a break point, not lose a break point, not face a break point the entire match? That was Monfils. He wins in 5 sets. After the match, there was a clip of the two of them cooling off on an exercise bike. I thought that was a real tell. The fact that they have such a close relationship, you wonder if that didn't get into Perricard's head anyway. But what a match and what a win. And what a start to the season for Monfils. Other matches of note, Daniil Medvedev, his first match of the season, his first match since becoming a father for the second time, smashed a courtside camera, had to play a tie wildcard Kasidit Samrej, and lost 2 sets. This would have been an absolutely titanic upset, and this kid could play. Medvedev prevailed, and then Medvedev, being Medvedev, had already one of the quotes of the tournament. "What do you think of this guy?" the courtside interviewer asked, and Medvedev responded, "If he keeps playing like that," I'm paraphrasing, but it's pretty close. "What do you think of this guy? If he keeps playing like this," Medvedev said, "he'll get money, women, and casino." Isn't that why everyone plays tennis? But Medvedev lucky to advance. Taylor Fritz advances with ease against Jenson Brooksby. This was actually a bit painful to watch. Brooksby actually beat Taylor Fritz at the U.S. Open a few years ago. He has served that suspension. Jenson Brooksby he's back. He's not 100% back. He was struggling to win games, and you wonder if he didn't need a few more matches. But Taylor Fritz breezes through without any real resistance on the other side of the net. There was a lot of resistance when 2 other Americans faced each other. That was Emma Navarro against Peyton Stearns, 2 recent NCAA champions. This had a real college tennis feel to it. A lot of intensity. You sort of were looking for Hokies and Deacon Demons. This had a real face paint type of battle. A wild match. Peyton Stearns serving for it, went 3 sets, and Emma Navarro then closed by winning 16 of the last 19 points. So a battle between 2 players, not a lot of, again, 2 players who play very stylistically similarly. They're close in age. They both came up through the college ranks. They're both players who really know how to compete. But boy, Emma Navarro really closed strong, and Peyton Stearns did not. Navarro, the seeded player, advanced. Other results, more American on American action. Madison Keys, who a lot of people, self-included, think could do really well at this tournament. She is coming off a title. She beat Ann Lee, tough American competitor, and Ben Shelton, repudiating some of the upset calls from tennis prognosticators. He took care of Brandon Nakashima. That's a really nice result for Ben Shelton. That was a tricky match. He knew it, and he really subdued Nakashima, played better when he had to. Other notes, and we could, again, this is the problem with, both the blessing and the curse of these early days at majors. We could do an hour show here. So if we are neglecting a result or crazy shot making, Alec De Minaur one, I mean, they're too much to talk about for our abbreviated format. Ivajovic, a teenager from San Diego, she won a match at the U.S. Open, became the youngest player this century to win a match at the U.S. Open. Guess what? She won another match here in Australia. Keep an eye on young Ivajovic, who's really, we've been talking about this with Lerner Teen, and we've been talking about this with Bassa Veretti. This is not a player like Perricard, who's just this physical specimen who's winning on the basis of physique. She really battles, and she'll now be, I believe, in the top 100. Keep an eye on Ivajovic. That's a very nice win for her for the second major in a row. Also, special commendation ought to go out to Tristan Boyer. He qualified, beat our friend Chris Eubanks in the last round of qualifying, and yesterday in the first round beat Federico Coria. Why do I mention that? Because Tristan Boyer is from Altadena, California, spending time out here. Altadena is sort of one of the ground zero cities, unfortunately, for the devastation from some of these fires. He's spoken about that. He's on an ocean away. The last check, his family home had been spared, but his tennis club had been ruined. He said he just goes up and down the neighborhood and knows everyone who has lost a home, and he is playing with that added pressure, perhaps that added motivation, that added layer. But keep an eye on American Tristan Boyer as he goes into the second round. Let's switch our grip and use some spin and spin this forward into day 4. Barely get a breath here because day 4 is packed with more top players. There's not a ton, honestly, of sort of tasty matches, just a chance to see stars showcase their talents. Novak Djokovic plays against a Portuguese qualifier, which means for the second match in a row, he gets an opponent ranked outside the top 100 as he's trying to ease his way into this tournament and also, to some extent, ease his way into this coaching relationship with Andy Murray. He'll probably like the fact that for the second match in a row, he gets a player he really ought to have little trouble with. It is interesting that Andy Murray brought in part for his tennis know-how and his tennis wisdom, his tennis grasp of opponents, and I'm not sure Andy Murray has a whole lot to say about Portuguese qualifier Jaime Faria. I had to look that up. Other matches, Arina Sabalenka in action. She is trying to win her 16th straight match at Melbourne Park. Again, she has not lost a match at a hardcourt major since 2023. Coco Gauff in action. Second seed on the men's side, Alexander Zverev gets back to it. Jesse Pegula against the veteran Elisa Mertens. Carlos Alcaraz back on the court. Wow, if you have a ticket today, you're a happy tennis fan. I will not try to replicate Andy's reggae hype horn that we were using for upsets, but keep an eye on Mensik against Casper Ruud. Mensik, the Czech teen who beat Ben Shelton already this year. Very talented, lanky kid, nice serve, moves surprisingly well. And Casper Ruud had to go 5 sets in his first round match. We all admire Casper Ruud in the grind, but tends to be susceptible to big young sluggers, especially off clay. That's what he's got today. Mensik Ruud, keep an eye on that one. Don't get too worked up about scheduling here, but a little strange that on Kia Arena, not Kia Arena, former home to the Seattle Sonics, on Kia Arena, which is basically the 4th court, we have Naomi Osaka against Karolina Muchova. I mean, you go down the schedule, this is as good a match as there is. We've been talking about Muchova as one of the great players of our generation not to have won a major. Naomi Osaka has won 4 majors, 2 of them in Australia, 2-time defending champion, and strangely enough, relegated to court 4. Not what sure went into the decision-making there. The good news is they will play, and this should be a match that reveals a great deal about both of them. Naomi Osaka coming off that 3-set win against Caroline Garcia. Looked pretty good, looked pretty durable, and Muchova the secret is out on her. I mean, she has become the fans' favorite player. So keep an eye on that match. Also, Riley Opelka against Thomas Machac is a good one. A lot of tennis on the docket today in Melbourne for the first day of round 2. This should be exciting. In the words of the prophets, you can like, review, subscribe. We are going to try and do this every day, these Quick Serve podcasts. This, of course, is a outgrowth of our Bigger Serve podcast. Andy's going to take the baton one of these days. I know he is, but for the time being, it's been a pleasure being here with you guys. This has been fun action from Australia, and day 4 looks like a good one too. So enjoy the tennis, everyone, and see you again tomorrow.